What's up, people? I am back for another video. Continuing on with the Tremors movies. I think I got two more. I got this one and I got one more, I think. I could be wrong. But this is where a lot of people say the franchise takes a dip, and they're right. Tremors 5 wasn't good. It just... what it was, they for no reason, they just changed the design of the graboids. Like, don't get me wrong, I do think the special effects probably were if I'm going to be objective here, were definitely the best in this movie, considering this came out like 2015. But I just didn't like the script. None of the characters stood out besides really Bert. Because that's one thing I've heard about a lot of these later Tremors movies, is that Bert really is the only thing that carries it. You don't have those, like, good characters like you had in those first four films. Like, I honestly thought, like, all the four films had solid characters. I would say the first has the best, but I thought all four had good characters. This one just didn't. Like, you have Travis, that's Jamie Kennedy. He was nothing but references in this movie. I like Jamie Kennedy. I love him as Randy. I could have done without him in this movie. There was no reason they had to change the design for the graboids. They changed the design of the ass blasters, which I actually don't mind. I think that was the only design change I was okay with, because it actually looks kind of scary. But I didn't like what they did with the main graboid design at all. There was no reason to change it. The graboids had such an iconic look for four films, and you just change it for reasons. And also, it felt like a ripoff of Tremors 2, where, this guy wants Bert to come to granted, it's instead of Mexico, it's South Africa, and kill graboids for him. Granted, it's revealed he's a poacher, but and then the scene where after we get the reveal of the businessman being a poacher, Bert gets knocked out and he gets locked in this cage and he starts going. That scene is just. I like Michael Gross, but my God, that scene is just fucking weird, man. He's and I get what they were going for because he's in the sun, so he's that does happen, but I didn't need to see that. I didn't need to see him drinking his own piss and and then there's a random lion. This movie's bad, man. It gets rid of that, because you can almost argue fundamentally all these movies are bad in the sense they're not really well made, but at least those other four knew what they were, and they had almost like a all the characters, in a way, they felt not a family, but a big group that actually felt like the world felt lived in a way. Whereas this version, it just doesn't. The characters are just there. So the story is Bert now has his own web show, and he meets a guy named Travis who he hires as a partner, and basically they give you I'll admit, the opening though was pretty good, where Bert explains the graboids. I don't there's just no reason to change the design. I don't understand why they did that. And also, there's so many scenes in this one where it straight up rips off Jurassic Park. Oh my God, there's 3 moments, I think. There's one scene where they have to throw a flare at it. It's almost done exactly like Jurassic Park. Then the most blatant one is when a guy and a little girl running away from a graboid. They run into the kitchen. Literally, it is rip off. It's shot by shot, how that scene opens up with the raptor looking inside the glass hole. That's what the fucking graboid does. It's the exact, maybe not the exact same way, but my God, man. And I get, because Universal distributed this movie, but my God, it's blatant. Yeah, so he has to go to Africa and basically kill graboids. That's essentially the story. And yeah, it doesn't have the magic of those other films. So if this one is bad, I can only imagine the next one. So that'll be next week. Tomorrow will be Expendables 2, which I really enjoyed when I watched it the first time. I haven't watched it in years, so we'll see. I'll talk about that more tomorrow, though. But other than that, I'm gonna kick off this review. These two workers in South Africa are doing some digging, and then that's where we get our first opening kill. And then the kills in this one, I'm gonna be honest, were also kind of weak because they were very quick. Very quick. Because I mean, this franchise isn't bloody or anything, but you do see people get eaten. Like the deaths in this one are just way too quick. You just see him get swallowed, and that's it. So, Graboid attacked a guy. Then the film cuts to Bert back in perfection. That's his own show. A survival type show. And we get basically he gives a rundown of the past few movies. Which I thought that was kind of creative how they did it with the animation and stuff. Then we meet Jack. Not Jack, fucking Travis, sorry, wrong name. We meet Travis, which is Jamie Kennedy, who he's trying to be Jamie Kennedy is supposed to be the comic relief, but it's just, he's so cringy in this. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's him, I don't know if it's the writing. He tries too hard to be funny at times, and it gets in the way. And in general, these movies, a lot of the characters are like that. They're very sarcastic. I mean, because that's kind of how this movie was built off of. But it just was annoying. Well, because he kept making, movie references for no reason. Anyway. So they start working together. I think Eric is the guy's name. Who's, he says he's a South African nature guy. Basically asked, Bert to come and kill some graboids for him. It's at this point I'm yeah, this is just Tremors 2 again. It's instead of Mexico, he's gonna go to South Africa. He befriends helicopter pilot Dan, I think is the guy's name. He was a cool character. I think he was really the only character that felt like he fits in this movie was that character. But we don't get a lot of them, and he dies. I don't think pretty early, but he just kind of died. He doesn't do a lot in this movie. I think it should have been him and Dan as the friend instead of Travis. Because I will say, yeah, that helicopter pilot was the only character that actually felt like he fit. He actually felt like a character I could see in the other Tremors movies. Whereas some of these other ones just, they felt generic. You had this science lady, because you gotta have the science character. She was a veterinarian. And she had a daughter. And when they get to the South African village, Bert, all his big heavy guns are impounded by the South African government, so they don't have a lot to work with. So they arrive in Africa. This is where they meet other characters, Taba and some veterinarian chick who immediately Travis hits on, and oh my god, dude. It was cringe, man. Him trying to hit on her. It's they're trying to play it off like it's funny, but it doesn't work. So they explain that the ass blasters only travel at night in this movie, and that night because Bert establishes y'all shouldn't go out at night, but they all go out at night anyway. They go to a party. It was the veterinarian chick and Travis, because they go to this dance thing, and that night. One of the ass blasters attacks Taba, and Bert is too late to save him. They try to travel. They leave him in like in a bridge. Tries to save him, but Top ends up getting killed, and but ends up taking out one of the ass blasters. Just the kills in this movie are weak. They're very quick. Like at least in the other movies, you saw some shit. Like whereas in this movie, I feel like the kills are just way too quick. They just wanted to like, okay, we got to see people die really quick. So the next day, they while this is happening, two doctors who are like, this is another ripoff of Jurassic Park, like blatantly. Like when we first see these characters, they're like digging, but it's like how we first see Alan and Ellie in Jurassic Park. It's like, dude, it's so on the nose. Like it wants to be Jurassic Park, and I get it. Jurassic World came out the same year because I think it was 2015. But my fucking god, man, it's just like why you try so hard to rip off a way better movie. So they end up finding the remains of a graboid, but it's like a different version. But while this is happening, they end up getting killed because they're hooking up. And that kill scene was weak. They just kind of get dragged down, and God, the kills in this movie are pretty weak. Like, at least if you're gonna have shitty characters, at least give me some fun kills. Just none of the kills in this do it for me. So Bert realizes he's dealing with a different type of graboid. I'll admit, the one graboid variant that I thought was kind of cool was how, like, the tentacles that you see on the other graboids in the other films actually can detach. I thought that was kind of cool. But that was, like I said, the special effects are definitely a lot better in this movie. But, like, aside from that, just none of the new characters do it. They don't feel like they belong in a Tremors movie. Like, because the characters in the other Tremors movie, all of them, like, even the side characters, had, like, character, and they were funny, and they felt like they belonged. None of these characters, besides the pilot guy, and we don't get enough of him. Yeah. So, while, Bert and Jack decide to try to kill some eggs because they end up finding a nest. They end up killing a graboid. This is where we get the reveal that that the nature guy who hired him actually is like a poacher, and he wanted to get graboid eggs, so he ends up knocking Bert out. And this is where we get this scene where Bert's basically going delirious for being locked in a cage for so long. And I get it. Being locked in the heat, that does happen. I've seen that before in other movies and stuff. But it feels like it was done to be funny, but it was just honestly uncomfortable to watch. I almost wanted to fast forward through this part. It was just I couldn't do it. And then Jack ends up coming back for him. And while this is happening, a graboid attacks the veteran and her daughter during the day. They don't know why, because as explained earlier, they only attack at night. And this is where we get basically, because there's another sequence where they have a flare, like I mentioned, and then this scene, the kitchen scene, is like, it's a blatant ripoff. Like, the guy and the girl run in the kitchen, and then there's like the little window you could see through, and like the graboid eye looks through. It's like, dude, you're like, are you really just gonna blatantly steal this scene? It breaks in, and even like it cuts to its feet, because that shot from Jurassic Park where you see the raptor clicking its claw. It does the same thing. I'm like, bro, you motherfuckers, like, you're so blatant. But it ends up getting killed by the veterinarian. I think she was an okay character, but she should be in like a different movie. Honestly, she should be something in like a more serious type of movie, not Tremors. She just felt very out of place. Dan and so the hunter guy, the poacher, gets killed by a graboid, but Bert manages to come back and kill a few, but then they need help. Dan comes back with a helicopter, but it ends up getting taken down by a graboid. And yeah, he was a cool character, but then he just dies. So they end up stealing the helicopter. Bert and Travis, and they end up blowing a missile into the cave, which blows up the cave. And yeah, so Dan gets killed by the graboid, um, which Travis, not Travis, fucking Bert names Queen Bitch, which I thought that was funny. Like, there's a few moments that feel Tremors, like feel like the other Tremors movies, but very few and far between. So they realize the only way to take out the Queen Bitch, which I really don't like the redesign. It's too modernized, and it just looks like a generic giant worm from another movie that you can easily put in like another sci-fi movie about a killer worm. It just, the graboids had such a unique design. Like I said, I didn't really mind the ass blaster design change, but there was no reason to change the original graboid design. Or at least you could have explained that the design change was like a variant of it or something. But no, you almost made it like this is what it's going to be from now on. It was stupid. Because the graboids had such an iconic design. Like, that face, like the face of it, like, that's a graboid from this movie series. And they changed it. And it looks like a generic worm that can be in, like, Dude. Or another killer worm movie. So the worm attacks, and they try the plan that they did in the first movie, where they killed a graboid by making it slam its head on concrete, but this one is much stronger. So they realize it's attacking them because the little girl stole eggs, which very Jurassic Park 3. Like, my God, this movie just wants to be Jurassic Park so bad. They end up, because they see earlier that, like, electricity shocks the worms. So they end up doing that, but with, like, a pole. It's so dumb. They manage to kill the Queen Bitch. And this is where, while this is all happening, Travis reveals that Bert is his dad. Which is like, what the fuck? Why is that here? When the fuck did Tremors get all, like, soap opera writing? Like, what the fuck? And it felt so just thrown in. It wasn't like this was like in the middle of the movie. This was like close to the end where they reveal this. It's just like it's like a, oh yeah, he's also, you're also his father. What? Why? What? He accepts him as his son. Whatever. They have a show together. Fuck this movie. This movie, it doesn't have what the other Tremors movies had. I'm not saying Tremors is like some high art or anything, but fuck, like up until those first 4 movies, I really liked them. The first one's the best, but I liked all 4. And then they had all good characters. The characters in this one are just generic, minus Dan, but you killed him. And because you had to focus on Bert and Travis's relationship, it should have been Bert and Dan. I think because Dan actually felt like a character you could see. Like the pilot guy, he actually felt like a character that actually fits in Tremors. But now you kill him, but because we gotta make Travis his fucking son. God. There was no reason to change the graboid design. The main one. I didn't mind the ass blaster design change. It didn't bother me. But the main graboid change was stupid. There was no reason for that. At all. I don't understand why they did that. There was... it's gonna suck because apparently, like, it pretty much gets worse from here. Like, I hear, like, a lot of those later movies just aren't good, so fuck me. But yeah, we're gonna be reviewing that next Tuesday. I think it's called Shrieker Island. I think that's Tremors 6. But, sorry about the noise. But yeah, this movie just isn't good. If I were to give it out of 10, like... 5, maybe. I think Bert had some good scenes, but yeah, the kills were not good either. I will give that the special effects are definitely a lot better in this one, considering this one came out in 2015. It's understandable, but aside from that, it didn't have the heart and the simplicity of the other Tremors movies, so I don't really recommend this one. It sounds like pretty much stop at Tremors 4. But other than that, guys, tomorrow, I will be reviewing Expendables 2. I think that was a fun sequel. Jean-Claude was a great bad guy. Gave me he had one of my favorite lines, like, "You gonna challenge me?" So I'll be talking about that tomorrow. I'm happy at least I saw that one in theaters. So, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna cheers one more time, and then I'm gonna peace out. But as usual, fuck Warner Brothers. Fuck Disney. Fuck LeBron. Fuck Seth Rogen. Fuck Colin Kaepernick. Fuck Juicy Smollett. Fuck Kevin Smith. And fuck the Biden administration. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.